What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? All right, James, are we good everywhere?
We
Give
are
a minute for Instagram.
Yeah, we are live everywhere.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Heather from Pip University. Heather, I've been following you for a long time, and like just the knowledge you put out there, your program's amazing, and like we have so many similarities, and just we're very common in like how we love the industry, and we're very common in like our approach to certain things, and we obviously aren't the same, but like we do vibe on a lot of the same topics. So we were chatting on Instagram. I was like, you know what? Let's fucking just do a podcast together and just go live. So welcome. And then for my audience who don't know who you are, like give me a quick introduction. Like how long you've been doing hair for? How'd you own a salon? Did you sell your salon? How'd you get into coaching? Everything. Let's hear it all.
Okay. So, well, first of all, I have to, give my shout out to you too. Cause I actually just shared this to my, Instagram. I found you came across my feed like years ago. And then so I started watching it, and I love your I don't even know what this word means, but I think it's what I want to say. You're crass. Like you just tell it directly, and I relate to that a lot. And the stuff that you teach is direct and no BS. And I love that, especially for today's industry. And there is a lot of similarity in the way that we teach, but also I think the way that businesses ran. Again, it's still different, but there's a lot of similarities there. So I just think the stuff that you're putting out is so good. And I think it is extremely beneficial for this industry.
The destination's the same, but we just kind of take little different paths to get people there.
Yep, but very aligned, because I really like the vibe. I love the vibe of it. And so when I shared to my Instagram about this just a few minutes ago, I was like, when he came across my feed years ago, I knew that I wanted to do a little collaboration with him, and we're finally making it happen. So I just love that, and I can't wait to see what is going to unfold over the next few minutes. But I went to hair school in January of 2007. Because I did not think I could do anything else. Like my senior year of high school, my mom was like, baby, D equals diploma. And literally, so that's what I had in my head is D equals diploma. She's like, we got to graduate. And so I really graduated high school, there was a lack of confidence there. And that is not the way that I was raised at all. But my three best friends were all 4.0 students. They all went to the University of Kentucky to do nursing school. I'm like barely graduating high school. I certainly was not going to go to UK, and I certainly was not going to be a nurse. Yeah. So I went to University of Louisville for 2 years, dropped out, started hair school, felt like the biggest failure in the world. And when I got into hair school though, I was like, oh, I think I can be pretty good at this. And not necessarily the hair side of it. I was like, I can get good at that, but I was not talented at that. For the first 2 years that I was behind the chair, I was not talented at hair. I messed up heads left and right, like bad. Like I have some stories
I dropped out of hair school the first time.
Huh?
I dropped out of hair school the first time I went.
Well, you got me beat with that one. I made it through school, but I thought that I could. I'm like, maybe I could really make something out of this. Started at first salon. It was the best salon in the world. They gave me the yellow brick road for the way that a salon should be ran. And the culture, like it was amazing. And I wanted to actually open that salon's second location. It wasn't the right timing for that owner. She had a lot going on. And so eventually I opened my salon, Meat Beat, in October of 2013. And then I owned that up until July 3rd, when I just sold it to a girl that was with me since day one. She's also my best friend. And so here I am. Started Pip. So you probably don't know this. People that are listening probably don't know this, but I was like, I think I can do anything in the world except for become the president of the United States and run a marathon. Those are the only two things that I think that I cannot do. As long as I want to do it, I have the right people beside me, and God is with me. If I have those three things, I can do anything in the world except for be president and run a marathon. So I was like, well, I'm not going to run for president. I'm going to try to run a marathon. So I go and start training for a marathon. I fly to Boston to watch the Boston Marathon. And I'm standing there at the finish line as close as you can get to the people without being paparazzi. The closest you can get to the finish line without being paparazzi. So I'm there at mile 26, and I'm watching people literally crumble, like fall on their hands and knees. They can't They cannot get up. And I'm like
You just don't
screaming
know.
over the railing, get up. You've trained forever for this. My marathon was in 2 weeks after that. I'm not a runner at all. And I signed up for the third hilliest course in America, and I didn't know that. I run the marathon. I ran it because I needed a breakthrough. Like I needed a breakthrough. When I was in Boston, I was so inspired by Harvard's campus because again, I was a D student. And when I'm there, I'm like walking up to people and I'm like, do you know you go to Harvard? Like, and they're thinking I'm just like Pollyanna idiot. And that was where Pip University was born, all inspired from Harvard. And that was in 2016. We didn't really start monetizing it until 2018. So I'm definitely an OG when it comes to the coaching
You are.
space.
Yeah, you definitely
So
are. What about Harvard made you want to start a coaching company?
it was the prestige. And there is a large, obviously, it probably doesn't get more of a distinction and difference between Harvard and hairstylists. So when we first started, I started teaching hairstylists. And so I would say, we teach Ivy League hairstylists. Like that was kind of like the brand of it. And then I transitioned to an owner, like to teaching owners. And it was just, I really, really respect, even though it isn't for me, I really respect the prestige of that school, the history, the tradition. And I wanted to create something like that for our industry that had a very, very high standard, because I think the standards in this industry are low. And it's very easy to just enter this industry, become a hairstylist, and it's very easy to become a salon owner.
Yeah, I feel like it's a fallback for a lot of people. Like, it's like, what can you do? Oh, I'll go to hair school, when it shouldn't be like that. And I think the opposite's happening today. People are seeing other people do hair, make a lot of money, and they're like, oh shit, let me just make a lot of money. Well, you also need to be able to do hair too and have like a love and an artistic ability.
Yeah.
So you get these people who think they're going to jump right in and then make 14,000 a week doing extensions, and that's not the case because they have no work ethic either. But did you start teaching techniques first, or did you start teaching business first?
I've never taught technical. I say, and I would used to say this to my guests, I say like, I'm not that good technically. Now, if I said that to any of my guests, I served like 300 men and women. They would look at me like, they're like, no one is better than you. You are the best that there is. And I'm like, no. You just really like me. You really, really like me. And I can do your hair pretty good. I was not bad technically. I was behind the chair for 8 years before I fully retired and at the end of 2017. So I got good, yes, but that was never really my passion in the industry. I enjoyed doing hair, yes. And I honestly never thought that I would retire from behind the chair. But what I enjoyed so much was the relationship aspect of me connecting with men and women. And I saw a lot of professionals, and I really appreciated the exchange and respect that we had for each. I really, really liked that. Like those are some of my best years in business. I feel like was when I was behind the chair because I was so fulfilled.
I think like a lot of people don't grasp what you just said. Like, it was your personality. And so for anyone out there who's listening right now, and this goes for owners too, like we could use this metaphor for everything. So I think of a pie chart, right? And it's skill and personality. And you have to be equally filling that pie chart. 50% skill and then 50% personality. If at any point you're not even good enough at 50% skill, like is it you're 30% or 20%, that means you have to be 70% or 80% personality, that likable, and you can have a career. Now, as an owner, you may not be that amazing of a leader yet, but you have to be eventually. But if you're likable and you get the trust of your team, so it's like skills of an owner, right? And then like the trust of my team. So the more skilled you are, the less trust you need because you're fulfilling the obligations. But the less skills you have, you need to have the trust of your team to be like, hey, I'm going to figure this shit out. And I'm good enough of a communicator to be transparent enough with you to let you know, like, I won't drop the ball. Just bear with me for like another year. And I think as an owner, as long as you're digging in like that and you fill that pie chart, you're going to be successful.
That's such a, I've never thought of it about it that way. As a hairstylist, totally agree with you. I was definitely not 50-50. And at the beginning of my career, I was probably like 20% skill. So I had to amp it up with my personality, but it works. Like that 100% works, and not in an unethical way or in a way that lacks integrity. You're just not good enough yet. You're not good enough yet. And only repetition Repetition helps you get good. So while I was getting good, I had to rely on another skill set that was already developed. What you said about being a salon owner, that is so, so true when it comes to working on your leadership skills. If you don't know what to say in conversations, or you don't know how to lead your team, or you don't know how to create systems and follow through on those systems, what you have to be good at in order to keep a team and have a good culture is to establish the trust, keep the trust, have a likability factor. And this is so big. And this is hard to, it's kind of hard for me to teach. You have to have a vision that is big enough for everyone on your team. You have to have a vision, and you have to be clear in what that vision, not clear on how to get there. Let me be clear with that, but clear on what is the vision and communicate that. Because if you don't, and if you don't communicate it consistently, that's when people fall on complacency and they feel like there's nothing left for them if you're not always talking about what the vision is.
Yeah, you need a vision so big it fits your team's vision inside of it. And that's
totally, totally.
And for owners out there who are like, I always build people up and then they leave. Like, I build this girl up and they leave. I'm like, your vision's not big enough. They don't feel supported in here. Like, that is why. Like, your team should know exactly what the salon's vision is and the brand and where you're going and where they fit in that.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Because if they don't know where they fit it, they're going to feel lost.
And they're going to feel like there isn't a place for me. And I'll say this, in a vulnerable moment, I know exactly what this feels like. I was an owner for almost 12 years. And when I lived in Kentucky, because that's where my salon is, I live in Houston, Texas now, but that's where my salon is. And when I was there, the salon was, it was fantastic. It was, of course there was high moments, low moments, whatever, but it was fantastic. Then I moved to Texas and I had a full leadership team that ran the place, and that went well. All of us got pregnant at the same time as first-time moms. Like, we just became moms, and then the ship started to crumble. You're hormonal. You're pretty much psychotic, Nick. Okay. You have a wife, you have babies.
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
You're like this, but we were.
I use this example all the time with people. Like, hormones, like women's changes. Then you got like 2 or 4 or 5 20-year-olds in your salon. They have hormone. It's like no one truly gets the hormonal factor that plays into like the dynamic of a salon. I don't think that's talked about.
Especially when all the leaders get pregnant. And that's when it got rough. I had to step in more. Pip University was taking all of my time. I had to step in more. And what I started to see was, because we had turnover. We had quite a bit of turnover for years. And we did not have, we had turnover, but nothing like we were experiencing at this point. And we had turnover before, but not in a bad way when I lived in Kentucky. And, I can look back on that even from this year and realize the vision was not communicated because the vision was really unclear. I was on my way out. A new owner was on their way in. Now, she was in the salon all the time, but she wasn't stepping into ownership because she wasn't the owner yet. I was. I wasn't present, though, because I'm here in Texas. I was pregnant, not really working. And then it was also, I got to be just like a really cool leader and bending over. This was a huge learning lesson for me, Nick. Huge. And I've never really said this out loud. I got to like bend over backwards because I wanted to make people happy. Our team was making stupid money. Everyone was being paid insane. They were making great money. And that was not enough to keep them. And that was really good for me to learn that, because there was something that I started to believe it was all about money. And then when girls started leaving that were making 100%, they were going to leave and make less money. There was no way that they were going to make the same because they were being paid so much.
Nobody makes more money than they do at my salon. Hands down. I guarantee it.
And we were on we weren't on commission. They were being paid hourly. So if I looked at that and I looked at, okay, every payroll, what would their commission be? It was through the roof. And so when people started leaving, I'm like, well, it's not money. They're like, no, I make great money. They would say, I'm going to take a pay cut. And so I'm like, there's no vision. There's no leadership. And when you want to keep aces, like you want somebody to come in and be an ace, you better be able to grow them. You better be able to grow them. And that includes difficult, uncomfortable conversations and redirection. And those weren't being had. That's on me. That's not on anybody else. Mm-hmm. But people crave that, especially high performers. And a lot of salon owners say they want high performers. They're like, how can I hire veterans? I'm like, are you ready to lead a veteran? You know how intimidating it can be to lead a veteran, the conversations, you got to be willing to buckle up to do that because they're not going to stay if you don't.
And they also need it. They need that. Like they need
Yes.
you to be strong, because if not, then they don't feel like they're supported. Like it's a tough thing for an owner to understand. Like the more disciplined you are and the more structure you have, the more these A-level players want to be on your team, because there's no room for bullshit.
But Nick, isn't that so fun? This is so wild to me, because this is something that frustrates me. I get frustrated seeing this.
Okay.
When you look on Instagram, it's very easy to buy into a different narrative than that. One of, I get to do whatever I want. I get to come and go as I please. I get to work whenever I want. So an owner could easily think, well, that's what they need. I even fell into this. That's what they need. But it's like, but really the right ones don't.
My business model, before I actually touch on the business model. So you brought up a really good point for a lot of owners, and owners, typically we're entrepreneurs. So we're money driven. And so for anyone out there who has ever read the 5 love languages, I created a lesson for leaders called the 5 leadership languages. And a lot of times, because that's our language, is money. That's why we got into ownership, obviously for impact, but we just like money, right? You want to have, how much more money can I make from behind the chair? I want to be an owner. All right, cool. And you progress from there. So as an owner talking to a stylist, they might just need a pat in the back. You think I'm going to raise your commission or give you a bonus, and that's telling you that I really like your work, I think you're a great team member, when all they need is, hey, Heather, you're fucking awesome. Like last week you killed it. And like, thank you for being part of the salon. And that's all they want. And you never say that to them. And a lot of owners who are listening, please take this in. You're paying attention to the people who need the attention, like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but then your A players, they're like coasting by. So you never say anything to them, because you don't have to critique them. You don't have to let them know that they're different. And then they feel unheard, not seen, and that's why they leave. And so if anyone's listening right now, just think about the 5 love languages, and then figure out what language your stylist gives and receives information on, and then communicate on that language. It will change your whole entire business. But back to what you're saying before about freedom. I like freedom. I hate being told what to do. Like I just don't like it. So I'm like, I'm going to give that to my team. And that's my business model, right? Independent stylist. And I don't like controlling them. They don't flourish always in that. So I need to coach them that much harder. So it's like employees you could put boundaries on. When they're independent and they want the freedom, you lose that ability to, I don't want to say control, because I hate that word control, but structure them in a way that they can actually flourish in. And I feel like structure is so important for us as creatives, especially hairstylists, because it's chaos. If you can't be creative in chaos.
And structure is what creates success. I don't care how good you are at hair. I don't care because I mean, I feel like hair is so much sales. I mean, I called myself a dancer behind the chair. I could dance. I danced all day long. I mean, you want to sit down, you want to talk about The Sopranos, or you want to talk about Bluey. I know about it all. Like you got all these different pieces of me, and people loved that. But I also needed to be really aware with the structure and the business side of things, even as a hairstylist. So the way that I greeted people when they walked in, sending a thank you note, not just a 3-liner to all of the new guests, but like an 8-sentence thank you note to guests when they would leave. We would send out emails. This was before automation was a thing. Like this, you had to manually do this stuff back then. Sending out emails, asking for Google reviews. Like there was a structure in my business. And even when I was a stylist working for somebody else, and I wanted to stick to that, because that's how I was able to I made so much money when it wasn't normal. Now it's very, very normal for a stylist to do. I don't want to say very normal. People aren't like, oh my gosh, if a stylist does 20 grand behind the chair a month.
It's very possible, right?
Very.
It should be normal. 20 grand should be the floor for people. Like that should be like, all right, boom. That's where my market is.
That's what's available today. Yes. And in order to really turn that into sustainable revenue, there has got to be a structure in place. And high performers know this. And high performers want to go work for people that create that structure, hold you accountable to the structure. They don't micromanage, but they're like, you say that you want to buy $1 million house next year, this is how we're going to do it. We have to have this structure in place for you to be able to do that. If not, stuff gets lost in translation, and you don't make it. You probably still make good money, but you don't make as much money as you could when structure is absent.
Of course not. 100%. Stylists out there who are employees, stop thinking yourself as just an employee and think of yourself as the CEO of your little business behind the chair. And if you're in a place right now in a salon that they don't support you in those other areas, take it upon yourself to do that stuff. Send the letters, send the cards, follow up with your clients. Like, one thing that people don't do, and I don't understand why they don't do this, first time clients that come to the salon, if you just call them 2 days before, hey, Heather, this is Nick. I'm doing your hair on Thursday. Real quick, just how do you take your coffee? Any allergies I should know about? Like, we have a great coffee bar set up. And like you weasel into that just this way. You're really just calling to make sure that they actually show up for the appointment. Because so many people are like, everyone no shows now, and I want a really strict cancellation policy, and you push people away. No one understands the fact that a client might be so scared to actually go to a new salon, get a new stylist.
Totally.
Just the anxiety is why they don't show up. And you're sitting here making more friction for them, making it harder for them to actually go sit in your chair, when all you need to do is pick up the phone, shoot a text, and be like, hey, just let you know, we have amazing coffee, Colombian or like Arabian French. Like, just talk to them about that. Oh, by the way, if you can get her like 15 minutes early, that'd be great. I just have a quick intake form so we know your hair's history. That's it. And now they feel comfortable, but nobody ever does that. And I don't understand why.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I love how do you take your coffee? Even though we are like making sure that you're coming, you're going to show up. But if anything, that is a huge point of difference in the way that a business is confirming the appointment. That if I got something like that as my confirmation call, even if I was like, I need to call them and cancel, I would want to go to that appointment now, because that would be very cool. Somebody calling me or sending me a text asking how I took my coffee. Yeah. And that's just it's so customizable what we can do to approach our businesses differently. And like I was saying at the beginning of the call, have a certain standard. And I don't know how many times I've said this phrase. Like, I'm sure my team is sick of it, because I always say success is in the details. It's in those little small details. And that's exactly what you just said. I do want to ask you for a second though, because I think that this is something that salon owners really like to learn about and know. What would be your advice? Like, if there was 3 things, if somebody was wanting to hire or lead veteran stylists better, what would your advice for them be?
That's a good question. Speak from experience. Like, you in order to lead a veteran stylist, you need to be a veteran at something. You need to be an expert at something in your life. Mm-hmm. And so when you're a 22-year-old, and no dig against 22-year-olds, but if you're going to open a salon and you're going to bring in Heather or myself, who are older and seasoned, what are you amazing at? Like, you need to be an expert. If it's marketing, like, you're great at creating content and Instagram ads or Facebook ads. Awesome. Now you could pour into me for something, right? As an owner, but you don't have to be the best hairdresser, not technically sound at foils or cutting or anything, but you need to be an expert at something. And so it's really hard to be an expert at things at 22. That's the hardest thing right there. You don't really know shit about anything yet. Yep. Sorry, all you youngins, but I promise you, when you're 40, you're gonna look back like, wow, I didn't know shit at 22. Because I thought I knew everything and I didn't. The other thing, honestly, when you're dealing with a veteran stylist, hold them to their standards. So you need to have an agreement with them how you're going to show up and how they're going to show up. And at any given time, in order to get them roped in, because they're kind of reckless sometimes, the experienced stylists, like, even though like they're that free, I make a lot of money, I could do what I want type of deal. When you show up a certain way and you say you're going to do this thing at this time, it needs to be done at this time, and you need to do exactly what you said you're going to do. Because if you don't, again, trust gets lost, but then now you have no leverage to be like, hey, remember when you said when you came on the team, you're going to teach classes on Wednesdays, and like, what's going on with that? Like, how are you helping out? You can't, because you're not living up to your end of the deal, and they're going to throw that in your face. So that's one of the most important things. Follow through. If you say you're going to do something, you have to follow through with it. And if you don't, you have to let them know before the deadline. Hey, Heather, real quick. I know Wednesday we're supposed to do that thing, but I had something come out with my daughter. I'm so sorry. Never usually ever happens. Can we do it on Thursday morning? Is that cool with you? Does that mess your day up? Because if it does, we can do it another day. I just wanted to make sure that ahead of time I gave you enough time because I really respect your time. And then
Love it.
honestly, the other thing, the third thing would be you can't not work behind the chair. Like you can't be a salon owner and a hairstylist. You have to pick one or the other. And so if you're going to lead your team, you need to lead them as the owner. And I think being the busiest stylist is cool, like you make money, but you're not there for them because you're too busy with your own shit behind the chair. And so if you really wanted to lead a level team who are really experienced, your energy, time, focus, and everything needs to be towards that business because that business supports their business. And as long as you're focused on that, they're not going to feel neglected because what's going to happen is you're going to have a corrective color. You're going to mess somebody up. It happens to everybody.
Yep.
You're going to run behind. And that meeting you have with Heather at 3:00, you have to push back again because you're late with your clients and you're not focused on being an owner. It's like I said this to you in our last call. You can't ride two horses at once.
Mm-hmm.
Are you an owner or you're a stylist? And I get it. Sometimes you have to do both. And if you do have to do both, designate certain days just do your ownership stuff and do nothing else that day. Or if you have to like split the day up, ownership happens from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. And then from 1 to 7 or 8, you could be a hairstylist, but you can't commingle them.
And why do you think, like, from your opinion, why do you think that this can be hard for salon owners to give up time behind the chair?
I think because they feel like that is their income. They have not fully embraced the fact that they're an owner yet because there's still a hairstylist in their mind. And so, it's like, that's their money. Like they don't have profits coming to the salon. If they don't work, they don't make money. So they're scared. But if you stop to work behind the chair, you can actually focus on the things that aren't working in the salon that could actually eventually make you money. And so I do basic math with people. Are you booking 5,000 a week? Awesome. Whatever your number is. Now, if you could teach 10 people, because you have 10 chairs, how to book 5,000 a week, would you make more or less money? Okay. No shit. Go teach them how to do it. Because you're burnt out. Yeah.
I mean, it's so true. It's like, I did this so quick in my career. Like the change was like, it was so fast. I felt like I didn't really have a choice though, to stop doing hair behind the chair because the salon, we were just gaining so much traction and the team was getting really big. And I knew because I had studied other entrepreneurs outside of the industry. And I'm like, if I keep going like this is going to crash. It's growing too fast right now for the lack of systems that we have. And we have pretty good systems. But I was like, I am behind the chair too much. I can't create these systems, teach the team these systems, then hold them accountable to them because I'm always behind the chair. So I fully retired December of 2017. And I say this, I've said this before plenty of times. That year, that was like our third year in business. We did like 870,000, something like that. The next year, when I was fully retired, did not do any hair behind the chair, we hit $1 million that year. And it's like, it's so good for your brain though. And even if somebody is scared to pull back from behind the chair because of money, we always use the term borrow my belief, borrow my story, because it's just me pouring into other people to support their success will ultimately help me be more successful. And if you really think about the math that you just did, Nick, if you really, really think about that, and you're fully committed to being a very good leader and business owner, the amplification in your business it is astronomical compared to what you could do behind the chair yourself. Once people get past, okay, I think that I can make more money if I pull out from behind the chair and start growing a team. I think that now that we're talking about this, because I've actually never consciously thought about it, but I think what they hit next, because this sucks. I mean, this sucks. When you're really good at something, it's fun. Like when I was in the salon and I was like dancing all day and people would come in and I would be like so extra going up there to say hi to them. Like that's fun. I knew I was good. Then you start learning stuff that you've never done. Like you start learning about being a leader. You start learning about your P&L. You start learning about how to have difficult conversations. You start learning about tech, Google Drive, Slack, Asana. That is a completely different career than standing behind the chair. And so what happens is that they're like, okay, I can get past the money part because I've bought into the belief that I can make more. Well, now it's time to like start learning about that new role that you're going to do, which is called being a leader, being an owner. And it can be so uncomfortable and so overwhelming. I remember this, so overwhelming because you were once really great at something, being behind the chair, and now you're not good at all and you're confused and you feel like an idiot. And if you're smart in one thing and you feel like an idiot in another, it's very uncomfortable. And that is when I have seen this so many times. That is when it's very easy when you know you're supposed to sit down and do something for the day or to learn something and you hate it because you're not good at it yet. You just start like, you know, getting a little distracted, and we're going to like see about bringing a new retail line into the salon because that's more fun. Or we're going to go paint, we're going to paint the break room because that's more fun. And it's like, no, you have to sit in this. You have to feel stupid. And you have to feel stupid every single day until you don't feel stupid anymore. Because if you don't give up, you will get smarter. And that's the only way.
These things that they need to learn, or anyone needs to learn, you need to dedicate, schedule your day for a 3-hour time block, 4-hour time block, nothing else but that one thing. Learn asana for 4 hours straight. Watch every video, practice it. Then it becomes easy. Like whatever the thing you're struggling with, don't do it for 10 minutes and go, oh, I'm going to go do inventory now. You're never going to get anywhere. Like just take 4 hours every single morning for the next 40 days straight. You'll become great at it. I promise you. Like just,
and it comes down to sheer just grit,
reps.
Like you just sitting down and being like, I mean, I have days like this because my calendar since coming back from maternity leave is like, it is stacked every single 15 minutes of the day. And there are times when I come across something that needs my eyes on it, or I have to create it. And I'll be sitting here like, I do not want to do this. And one thing I'm really working on is being my word with the things that I said I was going to do that pertain to the things I don't like doing. That's when it's hard to do my work.
You have to get an assistant, get an accountability person. And not to do the work. So when I don't want to do shit, I'll create a meeting with somebody and be like, all right, so we're going to do this thing and go over it. And then I'm going to have myself give you a deliverable from me that if I don't deliver it to you, I feel like an asshole. And I'm like, shit, I told her I was going to get it to everyone. Then I have to do it just because of how I am. And so I always try and hold myself accountable by hiring someone. It's the best thing in the world. Like they get stuff done for you, but they force you to show up. Because when you're an owner, you don't have to answer to anybody. Mm-hmm. But now you hire a manager to help you out. If you tell that manager, all right, cool, I'll get you this thing so you can do your job better by Wednesday at 2:00 and you don't, you look like an idiot. And so
and then you feel awful for not doing it.
Yeah.
And I have been like really committing to this of getting stuff done, and stuff that I know is going to take me hours just sitting here, which I do like that kind of work though. Yeah. And it's me not letting myself go and do other things that seem like more fun, go and do other things on my computer, not like leaving and going to Target, but doing other things that are easier for me, but sitting here and doing it, because I do know that every time I do that, because I do that a lot, when I do that and I'm finished, the payoff is so incredible. And if there's things that I'm putting off that I know that I need to finish, or that I know I need to learn, like I really need to learn that, every time or every day or week that goes by that I keep pushing it off, there is this, it's in the back of my head. Like I keep thinking about it. And it's like, if you would just sit and get it done and learn the thing or do the thing, it'd be behind you and you'd be able to like actually use the platform or actually share the resource that you created, whatever it is. But I think that is a big thing that I see with the majority of owners. There's a top tier of owners that are really good at this. They'll sit and they will learn. But there is so many owners out there that I'm like, if you ever want to be better than what you are right now, your brain cannot stay the way that it is right now. You don't know enough. You don't know enough of the right things that are going to get you to the next level.
Even the language to even have someone do it for you. Learn the language at the very least and delegate it. But if you don't know the language, you can't delegate properly. So here's a cool hack for that. And I think I thought of this the other night, or maybe like last week. So as owners, and we own multiple businesses, it's like, do you ever get home and you're playing with your kids and you should be present, but you're like, fuck, like I got this other thing to do. I could be doing, and like you're doing like mom stuff, but it's not really important because our kids are young. I'm watching Bluey. I'm like, this is stupid. To them, it's amazing, right? Like laying on the floor of my daughter's bed last night, holding her hand, and I got so much stuff to get done. But I'm thinking like, wow, like this means it means everything to me. Don't get me wrong. To her, holding dad's hand because she's scared of the dark is the world. And I know like I got to get this stuff done, but does it really matter? And it doesn't. So what I'm thinking, I'm like, when I'm at work and I get the itch to like not do the thing I should be doing and go fucking scroll somewhere or go work on some stupid task I don't have to do, that's me taking time, mental time away from my daughter, which I don't want to do that anymore. So now the pain of me actually being distracted is so much greater because I'm hurting time with my daughter because my time is borrowed. So is everybody else's. And honestly, as parents, you're really just here to be memories for your kids as they get older. Like, that's it. Like, we're not in their lives forever. So if you're home, like you should be present with your kids. And if you're at work, be present at work. So that's why your time at work needs to be so valuable and protect it. When someone
That's
interrupts
so
you,
good, Nick. Look at you, dude. That is good. That is so good.
yeah, and I
I
was
really, really relate to that.
because when someone interrupts you at work, don't think of it as just them interrupting you just now. It's 3 hours from now when I should be at my daughter's dance class or something, watching her, enjoying it. I'm like, fuck, I forgot that email. I got to do this. No, that task time is your sacred time for your kids too, because it takes away your mental capacity to actually be the mom or the dad in their life. And so as
Mhm.
owners or people in business or whatever you do, like that's what you should be doing if that's what you're doing at work, not when you're playing with your kids. So to be the best parent you can be, the more disciplined you are at work will make you a better parent too. And once I figured that out, I was like, holy shit, like I gotta stop fucking around at work because we don't
That's
have like,
so good. That's so good because it does make you think, at least me, I'm sure other people listening that are parents, they can relate to this too. The time that we have when we are working to just use that wisely and, like you said, protect it. So when there's things that don't get done or there's things that you didn't do, you're not constantly, it's not taking up your mental space when you're with your kids. Like I completely agree with that. And I am someone that I obviously work full time Monday through Friday. My kids aren't at home from 8:45 in the morning until 6:30 at night, Monday through Friday. They're with my mom is like our full time nanny. She hates it that I call her a nanny, but I'm like, that's really what it is though. Like it's a job for her. It is not like, oh, I watch my
it's
grandkids.
not easy.
No, and I would never. If I have, they went to my mom's late yesterday because my daughter is sick and I took her to the doctor. And my mom had a nutritionist appointment and it was like 11:30 before she got here. And I'm texting her like, girl, where are you? Where are you? Because I like to work. I like to work. And then I love my time with my kids. But it's like, I see stuff that's like, I don't, balance isn't normal or whatever. And I'm like, I feel like I really do have a great balance though, because when I'm with my kids, I fully am with my kids and I am really able to turn it off. And I'm so thankful for that because I would feel guilty if I wasn't. And then when I'm with work, when I'm at work, I never, and I'm so grateful for this because so many moms struggle with this. I never deal with mom guilt ever, because I know that when I am with them, I am fully with them, fully with them. That helps a lot.
It does because when you're at work, you're thinking about your kids. Like I have my kids right here. Like that's a picture of them. So they're right next to my desk.
Okay, little
And it's
keys.
like, then I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh man, it'd be nice to go spend more time with them. And then being distracted by work. And then when I'm there, I'm like, shit, I should have got that work done. And so it's like now I'm like, I'm dialed in from this hour to that hour. Nothing's gonna stop me. And then I'm out. And then I'm good.
I
It's
love
it's
that.
yeah, it's especially for moms. As dads, like there's a significant difference between a mom and a dad. I don't care
Yes.
what everybody says. Like my kids,
Yes.
like my wife just is different. When she like they get hurt, they want mommy. Right. And
Yes.
now, like, hopefully she's gonna be a daddy's girl soon. And we're meant to go out there and hunt. So as a woman, to be away because you're drawn to that maternal instinct, it's really
Yes.
hard to be a business owner and a mom. And
Oh,
it's really difficult. So it's like you have a full-time job as a mom and a full-time job as a business owner. And then you're babysitting kids or stylists in your salon too. So it's like you're a mom everywhere a lot of
yep.
times.
I totally get that. And, I never understood that before I had kids. And now I love it that I can actually relate, but I also love it. And I'm just so grateful that, because many people, when I got pregnant with my first and even my second, they're like, well, I wonder if you're going to want to go back to work. And I'm like, do you know me? Do you know I will always work? I love it. Is so fulfilling. I love what I do. I do see it as work because the work that I do is hard work, but I have such a purpose with work, but I also have a huge purpose with being a mom. And that is hands down my number one thing. And my husband loves our kids, loves our kids. But there is a huge difference between being a mama and being a daddy, you know? And so when they are sick, I'm the one, like he will still go to work. He still goes to work. I'm the one where it's like, oh no, this is mama's job. And I have to make sure I take care of this. And there is for me a little bit of, okay, how am I going to handle this so it doesn't get in my head? So I don't have mom guilt if I work. But then if I work, you know, vice versa. So all of that has just been really interesting as it's played out. And I'm super grateful that I have this healthy mindset around being really fulfilled at work, but also being really fulfilled as a mom. Because I know not everybody has that. But I also do think that it comes down to boundaries. Like I don't, of course I'm flexible because I'm also like, I get to be flexible. If there is a Saturday morning where I have to take care of some work, then I'm going to do that because I don't hardly ever do that. But normally I really stick to my boundaries, and that makes it really easy for my kids to leave the house throughout the week because I don't mess around with those boundaries.
As a dad with 2 kids under 2, it's really easy to go to work because it's a lot of work to do. What? Something came up, babe. Gotta go. Like I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss them growing up, but sometimes that house, like my daughter's gonna be 3 in like a week, and my son's gonna be 2 in March. So like now he's like just hazardous to his own health, straight up running right off the couch into the wall. Like it's wild, the boy and a girl. Like, and she's nuts too. Like the two of them are. I'm like, holy shit, I gotta get out of here. Like she goes to Pilates in the morning. I'm like, Dane, where are you? Like, don't get coffee, please. Come home, come home, come home, come home. Like some
Oh,
days it's
Nick,
nuts.
this is so relatable. People have got to be, I mean, this is so stinking relatable. Yeah. And when you're the mom, you can't leave. Like, you're the one, like on the weekends, obviously, I'm with my kids and I love it so much. But there are sometimes I'm like, how do women do this full time? I'm very, very thinking because it's hard. It's hard,
Yeah.
hard, hard.
Before we jump
But
back into salon stuff, my wife went away like last year, well, yeah, I don't know, a couple months ago, and she had to go for like a couple of days now. She works on medical devices, and so she barely ever travels, but she works from home too, which is great. So she's gone now for 3 days, and she's like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "Simple. I don't even know why you complain." Like I was breaking her balls so bad. She came home. She's like, "Well, how was it?" I'm like, "Honestly, Dane, I would do this all the time. It was pretty simple. Like it was really easy. Like I just downplayed how crazy actually it got." She was so pissed for like a week. I'm like, "Dana, come, it was fucking hard. Like, what do you think it
hard,
was? Like, it
hard.
was insane." But the best part about it was, I was at 4 o'clock. I get up early anyway. I was up, showered, breakfast. Like, I was so structured and routine. And so, back to structure. If you are a business owner and you are a mom, the structure and the routine will give you so much peace in your
Oh,
life. It just
totally,
will. Like this
totally.
whole like, winging it thing. Oh, I like to wing it. All right, well then you're never going to get anywhere. You're going to get here and just on pure grit. But once you start being structured and disciplined and you compound that with grit, you're unstoppable.
Yep. Yep. And you can have a really nice, I don't want to use the word balance because I know that a lot of people disagree with you being able to have it, but you can have a life that feels like it's in great flow. You can have a life that feels like it's in great
I like
flow
that.
as long as there is a
Flow.
structure to it, for
Yeah, I love
sure.
flow. So
So
what do
one
you
thing,
see? Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
One thing I do want to say, if anybody has any questions, definitely ask them. But
Yes.
also, I was going to ask you. So one thing, how would you explain to an owner when they're hiring? Because we get this a lot when they're hiring new people and they feel like because they're still behind the chair, the owner is, they feel like they don't have enough time to train those new people that are coming in. It's kind of like a never-ending cycle. Is I can't find anybody, and then when I do find them, how do I train them? Because I don't know how when I'm going to find the time to do that. What do you
Beautiful
say to
question. Yeah. So for the owner, you're talking like an assistant or like a new person,
that? Yep.
or okay. So for new people, this is the most simplest thing in the world. And for owners, with now it's 2025 technology, literally set up a camera, film everything you do. voice over what you do from the haircut to the color. Then you take that video transcription, you create your own internal curriculum, throw it through ChatGPT, create the outline, the checklist, and you're not using any extra time. So now you have something for them to learn from. Second thing I do, your assistant shouldn't just be trained on Fridays at 3 o'clock when the salon's over. Every day, they're required to ask me 3 questions, and then I need context for it. So I need a video or a picture about the thing that you have a question about. Now, when you ask me the questions, I give you my answer. And then if I don't know what you're talking about, like, show me the video. Oh, right there, I'm over directing the hair, or I'm stepping on this side because Sharon has a cowlick here and I over direct it that way. I don't want to give her more. Now that video becomes my reel for Instagram. The question becomes my hook for the video. I take both of them, throw it in a Google Drive somewhere, and now you have your homemade internal curriculum for the last 6 months of every question you ever asked me. Now I'm teaching you how to think live and real time in the salon. So this way, that doc now gets passed to the next assistant, and they have their own. And so you build this own internal curriculum. And so whether it's the front desk, get in the habit of recording things. When you get a new booking software, I put it on Zoom. I screen record me playing with the booking software, booking appointments, word by word what I'm doing. Now the front desk gets hired. Guess what you do? Give them the fucking video. Here's how you book an appointment. And then everything from the Wi-Fi. I call this camcorder method. Wi-Fi goes out. All right, take your phone, walk to the back. All right, guys. So if it goes out again, see this button right here, that red one, hold that down for 2 seconds. If that doesn't work, unplug this, plug it back in. And then you got to make sure that blinks green first. All right, you go back to the front, Wi-Fi should be on. If it's not, right here is the account number. Here's the phone number for the cable company or the internet company. Call them first because I'm not a cable person. Don't bother me. That's the account number and go handle it. And so now that video plays.
So good.
Yeah, there's nothing that's not recorded or documented for them to figure out on their own. And so
I literally think that is, for anybody that watches this, that's going to be a thing that people don't forget, is record everything. Record everything. And it's so much more time efficient because it lives forever. And then if it does have to do with training, then you know that everybody that you train moving forward, they're learning the same things because it's not you manually doing it different every time with different guests. They're watching the same thing. We have for our training a full curriculum of all videos, and that's how they learn, because you film that stuff one time and you can always add to it, but then everyone learns the same way. And then they're structured coming into your salon, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time. I always say too, do you have them like working with the owner if the owner's behind the chair?
Yeah, I take everyone when I was working behind the chair, like you splitting heads with me. Like we're doing singles together. You're going to watch me foil, toners. I make you form like the consultation. As long as it's not a brand new client, and if I got a good vibe from you, I do my consultation. Like, listen, I'm going to have Cindy do a consultation. Is that cool? Like, just have fun with her. And like the new client, like I want them to understand, like, hey, we actually train people here. But what I do is I'm like, all right, Victoria, do a consultation. And she's looking at me. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, you ask her. And then I'm like, hold on. Can I beat you up a little bit? She's like, what? I'm like, you never asked her name. You never asked what she was here for. You never asked how she heard about us. And I instill them from the get-go. Like, hey, Heather, right? I'm Nick. Like, partial highlight today and a haircut. This way we're not like getting lost through the appointment. Like, oh, I thought I was getting a single process. Now you're mixing highlights. Hey, real quick, how did you hear about us? Oh, it was Google. Perfect. When you're done with the appointment, what do you say? Heather, you heard about us on Google, right? If you could just leave us a review on how amazing it was here. Hopefully it wasn't 1 star. It would be great. I really appreciate that. Now, if it was Instagram, how'd you hear about us? It was Instagram or Facebook. Hey, do you remember the post by any chance? Like, do you remember like what it was? Did you save it? Oh, I did save it. Oh, cool. If 5 or 6 people that week come in from that post you posted last week, guess what you do with that? That's your ad. So now you know it's bringing in the type of clients. Now, if 5 or 6 people come in this week and show you that post and you didn't like them as a client, guess what you stop posting? Shit like that post.
Yeah.
It's asking the wrong person. And so all of this stuff happens real time in the salon that you don't even have the capacity as an owner to articulate that in a training program. So that's why it needs to be recorded, like that thing called Plaid or Plaud. Like just mic yourself up all day long and capture these.
So good. Yeah, and it makes it easy. Okay, so there's a question from Capri. What if you want to go into education and training? Will that take away from my team? If so, how can I balance my passion, which is teaching, but also am an owner? Okay, this is a great place for personal economy.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'll jump right in. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, I love these 3 questions. What business do you think you're in? What business are you really in? And what business do you need to be in? And so as a salon owner, we're thinking like, we're in the hair business. You're not. I'm really in the babysitting business. You shouldn't be in that business. And you need to be in one of 2 businesses, like the recruiting business or the coaching business. So you have to coach your team. Make your team, your staff members, your first clients for your education company. This way, you're always pouring into them. And then you have like a ready audience so you can practice your education skills, build an online community, get them in there, and then do live, like go live every Wednesday in your salon where you're teaching your team. So they never feel like they're absent from your life. They feel like they're part of the whole entire thing. And
Yeah,
you can
and they
grow.
do.
Then you have to hire someone to be you in the salon. So you could focus on the other business, but you need the other person to be the owner, manager, pick up the slack. And then you want to start like a weekly agenda, I call it. And then every Tuesday, 10 o'clock, you meet with that person. You got a living document. It's a reoccurring agenda in your calendar. You go over everything that happened a week before. If there's an emergency, obviously you guys chat. You could do like a daily sync, but every week you go in depth with the numbers, what's happening with the salon. This way you have enough capacity with your thoughts to build business too. If you don't, you're going to have 2 shitty businesses. And so as far as your team, as long as you're continually having someone check in with them, it doesn't have to be you, but then you do your one-on-ones like bi-monthly, like every other month, or at least quarterly, they're going to feel like they're heard from you, like they're still part of your team. But if you could just dial in your education and make them part of it, and then bring them into your education too, where they become a guest speaker, and now they're getting fulfilled a little bit, you got a home run.
I completely agree with this. The beginning of Pip University, Nick, that is exactly what I did. That is to a T. That is exactly what I did. We even had some of my team be professors at Pip University when we taught stylists. Now that we only work with owners, obviously that couldn't be a thing. But when we worked with stylists, people on my team, that was like their second job working with Pip University. So they felt there was a lot of, they felt included. And I was going back then, I was going live all the time on Instagram and Facebook. And I would go live a lot from my salon. That is absolute perfect advice for somebody that still wants to be an owner and needs to be an owner because they love the salon still and it's their livelihood, but they also want to see like, how could I also teach because I love teaching? For a while, you do both of it at the same time because the salon is going to help create the platform for teaching.
Yep. You just document everything. Just put your camera on. And teaching is great. Like that's the personal economy. I know you wanted me to segue into that. So really what we have in our industry is you have the ability to have services. You have a salon, beautiful. You're catering to the community. You're doing great hair. But then you're like, all right, I want more. Well, we forget about retail in our industry. So retail is your ability to sell products in the salon, but also online. So you have the ability to sell e-commerce, which is another layer of your personal economy. Now, if you're really good at educating to the person who asked that question, you might be able to sell like a balayage board, right? You're selling it to your peers, or you could sell a like a Moroccan oil type of thing to help heal hair. That's to your clients. Now, a product goes twofold. So now you're having services that you're giving to your clients. You're selling products to your peers and also products to your clients. That's the other layer of the personal economy. Now you're educating. So you can create like $27 courses, sell them to clients on how to make your blowout last 5 days and whatever the thing is you want to sell to them, or you sell courses to people in the industry who are professionals to educate them. You can teach techniques, you can teach business. And so you build this layer, this vertical, of all your skills you amass throughout your 10, 15, 20 years of being a hairstylist. And you have a serious business here. And
Yeah.
you can literally do it for like a couple hours a week. Like if you really wanted to have a balanced life. Like I know Maria went, she's a digital educator. Do you know Maria?
Yep. She's that guy. What's that? The guy's name?
Taki Moore? With
Yep.
Takis? Yep.
Yep. That was her first mentor.
Yeah, she's doing like 800 grand a month.
Crushing it.
$27 courses, guys. She's a mom. She's always home with her kids. She works, and she probably does a little more than 4 hours a week, but Like she could only have to work 4 hours a week if she wanted to. If she can do that, you can easily become an educator and run your salon and still be a mom. And so I feel like you said before, get around people who are doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah, man, that's a big thing. That's a really, really, really big thing is being around people that aren't in your bubble and being around things that you don't really know about. Like what our first call,
Yeah.
you talking about the retail thing. Like that is something I do. Of course, we sell retail in the salon, but selling retail online, that's something I've never looked into. That's something I'm ignorant to, whatever. But it's really nice to talk to somebody that has knowledge about something that I have no clue about. And the more that we do that, the more we're going to learn and the more it's going to lead to the next thing that we could be interested in, is getting out there and experiencing things that you're not familiar with right now. And I love doing that.
Yeah, it's this is why I think like the whole coaching industry, like I'm casting no shade in anybody or any program. If you aren't in the industry, it's really hard to coach somebody in that same industry. Like for salon owners, if I'm not a salon owner or I never own a salon, I can teach you some fundamentals of business, but I can't tell you what it's like to have 4 girls go on maternity leave at the same time, to have somebody else lose a baby, God forbid, never happens. Someone else lose a parent in the salon. You have a wedding that was misbooked, and now all of a sudden they show up on a Saturday morning. You thought it was the 18th, but it really was the 12th.
Oh,
Like you don't know how to articulate the solution to that problem because it's so foreign to you. So as when you're getting mentors, you're going to get around people. Business is business. I get it. But get around people who have been through that shit before. So you can literally just shoot them a text or answer. Like in my community, they can ask me a question. I'm like, yeah, I've done that before. Like this is going to be like so crazy to even say this publicly live to people, but I've had someone ask me, hey, I got into this loan thing with my credit card processor. They give me money in advance and now it's really hurting my bottom line. Like I can't pay my bills. I'm like, okay, get another credit card processor. Process yours through that one, process your salons through that one. So they're getting their commission and then you can pay that off on a longer period of time.
yeah,
They're only
yeah.
taking the percentage of it. She's like, oh my God, I never thought of that. I'm like, you think this is my first rodeo? I had to do that shit too. And
Yeah.
so as somebody who's been through it before, that's the kind of shit that you can get mentored through. But
Yes.
so it's important that you get around people who can help you too in your specific area. The other thing, which is great, is get around people who make you feel small. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I
Mm.
mean, like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. I'm sorry, if you're the smartest person, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like I
Mhm.
try and put myself in around people, like my mentors, they piss me off. Like I get so pissed at looking at them. I'm like, how do you do $200 million a year? Like we're the same person. And
Yeah,
then
so
people look
relatable.
at me like, oh, you're doing great. I'm like, I feel like a failure compared to them.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, but one thing because I fully align with that. I fully align with that. But the really great thing about it is it's so inspiring to me. It's
Yeah.
so inspiring to me. And it's like, and then because like I've got this confidence in me where I'm like, and a calling. It's also a calling that I really believe is over my life where I'm like, if they can do it, then I can do it. Sometimes it's like, and I totally believe in things that I can't see. But sometimes when you're talking about your own personal self in your business, it can be hard to see, especially if you've had a bad year or a bad quarter or a bad few years. Sometimes it can be hard for you to see yourself as successful as you want to be. But when you see other people doing it, like even inside of the industry and you're not looking outside of it, even other salon owners, for me, like if I ever saw that, I was like, it gave me so much hope to believe that I could do the same thing. That is
That's
very powerful because it doesn't let
my
you
goal,
believe your own
5,000 a week.
crap.
So 5,000 a week was my number for some reason when I was behind the chair. My partner at the time's uncle he's a barber in Florida and his father was a barber up here. He's like, this girl was doing diva curl cuts. She was booking 5,000 a week. I was like, 5,000 a week. And they were like super negative barbers. Like it was like the industry sucked and you couldn't make a lot of money. It was like, they were like that old school. Right. And then he believed that like he saw this firsthand and it sparked me for some reason. I'm like, wow, 5,000. And my sister was making great money. But for whatever reason, like it was like a hairstylist in an area that wasn't really financially like abundant. And she pulled that off. And I was like, fuck, if she could do it, I can definitely do this. No lie, like less than a year later, I'm racking up. And there's a lot that went into that too. $5,000 a week. That was my floor. That was my average week. It was like
Yeah,
$1,250 every single.
sometimes it's just knowing that somebody else is doing it that lets you be like, oh no, you can do it too. And I love the aspect of that because I see this with our students because we see all of their numbers, we see everything. And I mean, we have some students that are just doing $200,000 a year, and they're not old like me. These are young girls. These are young girls that are leading really big teams, and they're doing like 200K a month. And I love seeing that for our industry, but I also love seeing it to show, not that I show these numbers, but as a reference to other owners that are new, that are like, I can't possibly think about getting to 70 grand a month. And I'm like, oh, but you can. And there are so many people that are doing it. And sometimes when that switch unlocks, it's all you needed to, in a year later, be doing exactly what you said you were doing.
It all comes down to belief. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right either way.
Totally. Henry Ford.
We all have a book of beliefs that we have packed in the back of our mind. And it's not the book that you wrote. You may have wrote some of the chapters in that book. It's the little one-liners your mom might have said, or your aunt, or the guy down the street, or your friend's dad. And these little negative beliefs that limit you. And you're like, oh, I can't do that. Well, rich people, they always screw somebody over. That's how they got rich. And like, you believe that. So if you think all rich people are bad, or you think all owners who own salons screwed over their team, so when you become a salon owner now, you have this belief and connection that you don't want to be bad, because obviously you don't want to be bad. So you self-sabotage yourself based on your past belief of your old owner being a douchebag because he took commission from you.
Yep.
Now you can't get to that next level, and you can't live an abundant life because of that belief. Right? You could do both. You could be an amazing owner, and you can still be successful. You're not stealing from your team, because if they don't have you, they don't have a salon, they don't have marketing, they don't have running water, they don't have supplies. So there is a job that happens there. And I think this is to your point from earlier in the conversation, the transfer from a stylist to an owner. Like, your job is to be an owner. You should get paid for that. You shouldn't be working for free as an owner and then living off what you make behind the chair. Like, someone needs to get paid. You want to hire a manager and be like, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to pay you this week. You did the inventory, you did this, you had the meetings. Fuck it. Thanks a lot. See you later. And not pay them. Yeah. But that's what you do to yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
It's so sad, but we all did it. Like, trust me, my businesses are not perfect by any means. I'm saying this because I was there.
Yes. Like, same.
100%. Yeah. There's been times I've driven home from work and I just wanted to let go of the wheel and just saw what happened and just boom, blast into the woods. Like, it sucks to be an owner. Like, you're like, why the fuck do I do this? It's not rewarding. Your spouse won't understand it. Your team doesn't understand it. You feel so lonely. You're like, this is the worst thing in the world. I was so much better with working behind the chair. Why did I do this? And then you want to expand when things get good because now you think you're the fucking best. Now it's like you go from 5 to 10 chairs and you're like, holy shit, there's a whole new world of problems.
You're saying what everyone feels. That is true. And if you're listening to this, if you haven't experienced that yet, you will. You will. You will. There are so many times where I'm like, this is the worst job I have ever had in my life. 7 months later, we're crushing it. I'm like, this is amazing. I want to do this for the rest of my life. Yep. 7 months later, we're back to where we were 14 months ago. I totally get that. And I'm sure most owners do too.
In the Marine Corps, James, get some questions for me. In the Marine Corps, they're like, did you die? Like, did you die? No, then shut the fuck up. I'm sorry for your audience. Hope they don't have sensitive ears. Mine are kind of used to my potty mouth.
Oh no, I'm sure. So I cussed like a sailor forever, like forever.
James.
And then I got convicted, so I don't cuss anymore, but they're used to it from how I used to. I don't think there are any more questions.
James, rattle off a couple questions we got.
Let's see. Dimitri said, both of you on this call partnering together. This is legendary.
Oh, Dimitra. Guys, if you don't follow Malia Hair, follow Dimitra. Check out her hairline. It's amazing.
She did Pip as well. I didn't know if that was the same.
Yeah, same one.
Dimitra.
Yeah, she said she's worked with you both and both have very structured salons. Let's see.
And that's just a testament to coaching. Like people are like, oh, it's so much money to invest in the coaching. Her business, like she's in Europe now. Like she took her little hair extension line, blew it up all over the US. Now she's in Greece. That didn't happen by accident. That was intentional belief in herself. And she invested money in other people to suck whatever's in their brain out. And she actually used it. If you're going to invest in a program, use what you're learning. Don't take a course, read a book, get the classes, and then do nothing with it. That's the most frustrating thing in the world. Like you should do mentorship and be a completely different person than you were when you started it. And if
Totally.
James, next question.
And Hella Studio, how do you stop the revolving door effect where you have to find new stylists every month? In my town, braiders are able to work off the streets, therefore don't see the need to work for someone else.
Okay. You want to attack that, or you want me to get it?
No, I'll see what do you say to that?
Yes. Okay. So business comes down to a couple different things. We're going to go fundamental business here. Like, what is your offer? Right? What are you offering for people to work at you? So look at your stylist or your braiders as your clients. And then is your salon or establishment offering something they can't get working down the street? I can get a Samsung, pay less money. I choose to get an iPhone. It's a better offer, better marketing. There's a sense of belonging. Like you see someone with a green text on your phone, you're like, oh, fuck, that you don't have iMessage? Like it's like you become part of something. Now, you need to create a culture that's so dialed in that every single braider needs to work at your salon. And if they don't, there's something wrong with them. Like that you have to create the standard and set the precedent that you're the best, you have the best education, you pay the best, like everything just has to be so amazing there, from the experience of the customers to the experience of your braiders. And like it has to be a privilege to come work for you. And no one will want to leave. Especially if you can, like I asked, like this is something I love to ask people, like name 3 people you admire and why, right? When I first hire them, see what they're about first, make sure you're hiring the right people. Because if you think about it, you either have a people problem or a process problem. And if you have a great offer, but people keep on leaving, then it could be a people problem, but then what's your process for hiring? So maybe you're not having a good interview process right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what you can identify. Like I ask, give me 3, what are my 3 questions? It's, what experiences do you want to have in life? Like when I hire you, Heather, like you come out, I'm like, what do you want to experience in this career and in life? And then what kind of person do you need to become to make those experiences possible? And then now I got you thinking about who you need to be.
Yeah.
And then how are you going to help other people make their experiences possible too? Now I'm going to have you thinking about, once you get to this level, how you're going to pour back to the rest of the team. And so you can create this journey for that person. And like me and Heather said in the beginning, it's the vision. Like, is your vision big enough for them where they feel like they're going to be supported in their career? Heather, jump in.
So what comes to mind for me is I'm hearing just a little bit of, and this is kind of, because there's a hair salon everywhere where it becomes a commodity. So it's just like nothing special. You can find it anywhere. There is this, I don't know if y'all have them there. There is this coffee place here in Houston called La La Land Coffee. Okay. If you guys find them on Instagram, their branding is, I mean, it is so freaking cool. Their signature color is yellow. And we have this really cool area. We're like in downtown Houston. So we have this really cool area near us called MKT. And it's just a bunch of retail shops. It's not villagey. It's like very metropolitan, downtown, whatever. And La La Land Cafe, they have a really big location in that little area. When you go there on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you can, like MKT is like decently busy. You cannot even step on the patio of this place. They sell freaking coffee. They just sell coffee. You know how many places sell coffee? You know how many places in MKT sell coffee? I was telling this to my right hand, Sam, and she goes, but they really do have good coffee. And I'm like, even if they had the crappiest coffee, people would still want to go there. Why? Because they made it an experiential brand. People go there. Everyone has their phones out. People go out there. They're literally sitting, because Houston is hot as hell. They're sitting in 118-degree weather, no over them, so they can be sitting here filming with their little La La Land. Their cups are really cute. Their big sign is really cute. So what have they done? They sell something
Attention
super
to
average.
the details, like you just said.
Yes,
It's how
they sell
someone
something
feels.
super average. They've taken a commodity, what's so normal everywhere, coffee, but they've created a huge distinction for it to where on Saturdays and Sundays, you can't, not only can you not like step on the patio outside, you can't get your body inside the doors because the line is just too long. And it stays like this on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at all times.
I gotta check them out.
That is the trick to figure that out is what are you doing differently to create an experience for your internal team so you have a really strong recruiting pipeline, but also what are you doing to keep your team busy and to have guests coming in and out the door. And I'll give a little hint to everybody in case you don't know, it is never, ever, ever, ever about being cheap. Ever. It's not about your prices. It's about something else. Because I promise you this, La La Land Cafe, they don't have cheap coffee. But they literally have to turn away people on the weekends. So just think about that for a second. And that's the same for every business is what is the distinction that you're creating? That's such a good question.
Yeah, you're selling how someone feels when they drink your coffee, and you're selling memories. Because if they're taking pictures, their camera's out, when they scroll through that phone, like, oh shit, like, let's get a cup of coffee. Yeah, that's great.
And you're selling status. And you're selling status because when they take a picture of themselves and then they go to post it, they were at La La Land. Like
I bet you people fly to Houston for that coffee shop. Am I right?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, then they have them. They've got several locations. Like they've got some in Austin and Dallas, but like they're popular everywhere. And the brand is cool. It's like very cool. It's like the cool kids. Like I've never had a coffee from there, so I have no clue what it tastes like. But
they're not cool. That's what you're telling me.
I'm not anymore. I used to be very cool, but I'm not that way anymore.
I gotta check them out. And guys, if you're listening right now, go to their Instagram and see what they're doing, and then do that same shit for your salon. Like your braiding business, if you could curate an Instagram with that kind of vibe and that kind of feel, like that's very easy to do. And this obviously you're not posting coffee, but you can get the gist of what they're doing because it's working. Like the Block NJ has a great Instagram. It's a steakhouse in Jersey, like a butcher. They do phenomenal, but their aesthetics are really great. Like their camera work and their foot, it's awesome. I love their Instagram. James, next question.
How do you get the training content when clients do not feel comfortable being recorded?
All right, that's a great question. So you don't have to record them. You could set the camera back like 20 feet and just not get their face in it. It's just a matter of you. And here's the reason why I said to do this. When you try and teach a class and you're teaching and you're not a great educator yet because you haven't done it because you're like a new owner, you're teaching a haircut. There's things you're going to forget to teach. But when you're doing someone's hair and you're actually filming, you do step by step, like how you do the haircut, things that you do for muscle memory that you don't realize that you do, you're going to capture on camera that you're going to actually be able to narrate while you're doing the voiceover. So if you do a particular technique, you're like, oh shit, like, and I do that. Like, I didn't even realize I did that. And now that's the thing that's your secret sauce. That's that ingredient that had you not done that, you would have left that out of your curriculum. Now that you have it, it's going to be in there. So like, you don't need to get their approval. You just set the camera up like, hey, I'm just going to be filming this cut. I'm not going to get your face in it. And then a lot of people, if you wanted to put like a disclaimer on your front door, be like, hey, there's cameras in here. Like we film, like you can get a GoPro up in the corner and catch you all day long. There's a million ways you can do it to make that work. Like you don't need to get their like Instagram face right in here. Cause I see it all the time. Like when I watch people post pictures of their clients are cringing. Like they don't want to be in the picture. And like, it's painful to watch the person's face in the video on your Instagram. Don't be that person. Cause I wouldn't want to be your client at that point. So there's ways around it, but yeah, for the education part, just do what I just said. I don't think I can repeat that again.
Anything else?
Let's see.
Heather, you good so far? We could run over a couple minutes.
Yeah, I can run over about 15 minutes.
All right, cool.
We have a lot of people saying that they love the show. My 1099 don't feel like showing up. What should I do?
All right. So the 1099 conversation, I love that conversation. They're independent. So here's the deal. And I'm going to use this example again. You need to be a good enough leader with a big enough vision so they want to show up. And so it comes down to how you inspire them. So part of your leadership is about inspiration, not motivation. They should be so inspired by how you lead and how you show up that they just want to be around you in the salon. And then if you have really good marketing that you can trickle into them, when I say 10 to 9, it could be like rev share like I do, or booth renters, but either way, you should provide enough clientele. And like if you were La La Land Coffee, they would want to show up, right? It's the feeling you're giving them. It's how you're curating that business, that emotion, those memories. And so really focus on creating an experience in your salon to work there. And that would probably help you out. But there's something called Heaven's Gateway. And I think I said this to you, Heather, on the first time we spoke. Heaven's Gateway happened back in the 70s, I believe, where this guy, he orchestrated a mass suicide. And it was like dads, moms, doctors, lawyers, like a bunch of random people he talked into all committing suicide and drinking this poison because they were going to go to outer space or something silly like that. If he's able to get 30 people together to kill themselves, and you can't get someone to show up to work on time or to show up, is it a leadership problem or is it a people problem? So think about how I'm not condoning what he did by any means. He was able to inspire his people enough and believe in something enough to have a big enough vision to follow through with the ultimate sacrifice in the world. But you can't get people to come in. So it's like, let's go back to the basics here. Is it a people problem or a process problem? And you're the person, the people that we're talking about. So that hits home, and it's no disrespect, but just create that experience, be that leader that inspires, and you'll have people that want to show up every day. And if they suck, then just don't have them work at your salon. That's the polar opposite. Then you might just have a bunch of people you hired to fill seats. Don't do that.
And Nick, I have some, because this kind of piggybacks off of that. She said, what happens when the vision shifts, as businesses always do, and you find you have some team members who don't align with the new or shifting vision the same way they used to? How do you handle that?
Love that. What, you want to take it or want me to take it?
Well, I'll riff off of you. I want to see.
Yeah, so I call it the culture realignment strategy. So my interview process, what I do when that happens, I re-interview every single team member. And then what I do is I put them back on the 30, 60, 90 day. It's my own internal 60. They don't know they're going through that process again. I realign them on my core values, on my new mission, on my new vision. Does it align with you? I get a pulse on what's going on in your world. And then I start hiring again. And so as I start filling my team, people who don't align, I just let them go spread their wings somewhere else. And that way I never have a lapse in my revenue, but everyone's realigning on that initial interview process. I'm like, hey, this is where we're going with the salon. I'm going to get a pulse check on you, re-interview them again. I kind of go through that same exact process again, and then I rinse and repeat. That's how I do it.
So I would say very similar to the same thing. It's almost like, I think sometimes we can forget with people that have been with us for a while that if they've experienced the salon a certain way for a while, and then it starts to shift, because it should shift. The vision should continue to get bigger. And if the vision stays the same because it was birthed already really big, their reality is going to be constantly changing if you are working towards the vision, because that's how it works, you know? And so it's like, sometimes we forget that because this is a really good salon that asked, salon that asked this question.
That's a brilliant question too.
It is. And when we originally hire people, there is this, I love using the word indoctrination because it's so polarizing and, it can like kind of piss some people off. Like, it sounds weird, but I'm like, there is an indoctrination that really good owners and leaders understand. And we do that with every single person that comes onto our team so they can be fully bought in. If somebody's not really aligning with the vision, it's one or two things. One, it's because it's their time to get off the ship because this is where the roads go astray. And that is okay. Sometimes that happens. Like, that is okay. Somebody just might have a different avenue in life that they're ready to go down. And especially if your vision like really changes, it pivots a little bit. It's natural. It's a natural progression for people to not go with you. But many people will still go with you. And if that's the case, then you have the opportunity to gain buy-in again. Sometimes we forget that part. Sometimes we forget because they're with us already. They're down for whatever. But if stuff really starts changing, because there was a hard pivot left, we can't forget that it's just about getting buy-in and indoctrinating the new people that we're bringing in. We have to do that same thing. And you essentially said this, Nick. This is just in my own words. You have to do the same thing with your existing team. And that might take a few months for them to see why there's a pivot. What is the new vision? How, and then always making sure that they understand how their uniqueness is needed and wanted and where they fit into this. That's always really, really important. It's like this vision becomes really big, but everyone has a seat in it. And your seat is very important, appreciated, valued, and needed. And so I would say if you're doing that, if you're gaining buy-in and they're still like, yeah, this isn't a thing, then at some point it may be just smart to explore them not being there anymore because there's something else there for them. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but those are really the two routes.
Yeah. And this is why it's cool to have friends that are owners in your community, because you both probably have different visions, and you can be like, hey, Heather, I got this girl, like, I'm just changing things around. She's not really fitting in. I didn't talk to her yet, but I'm curious, do you need a stylist? Like, she's fucking amazing, but we're going a different route. Yeah, Nick, I actually do. Awesome. So when you talk to her, like, hey, Jen, do me a favor. Like, I know we changed our vision. I know it doesn't align with you. A lot of things we're changing. We're doing the parts and labor. We're doing this. And it's not where you want to go with your career. I have a great friend of mine. She's like 2 blocks away. You're not going to lose any clientele. She's amazing. I think it might be a better fit for you.
Love that.
You're setting her up. I don't care. Like, I want you, because I really do love my team. Like, I lost a bunch of girls in my life as a hairstylist. I'm friends with almost all of, like, I check on them. Like, I was just talking to one of them today. Like, hey, how's that promotion you're going? Because no offense if you're watching this, by the way, promotions are fucking stupid. Like, don't promote a free haircut for the color. Like, it's dumb. She knows how I feel about that. But I was like, hey, listen, try this instead. Like, does not benefit me in the least bit. I just want to see everybody succeed. That's all I care about. And so that's how I do. So I was like, if I have an owner, I'm not going to try to sabotage a salon. I'm going to try and give him somebody who's great. Now, if you don't like the owner, then give him one of your shittier employees, but that's a whole different conversation. I love how you said that. Like, everyone, like, I need your uniqueness here, because a lot of times we fight the uniqueness, but it actually helps give your salon the really diverse identity. Like, we're not just all cookie cutter, blonde hair, blue eye, balayage, lived in color, only stylists. Like, you need the edge. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always said, and I didn't say this, somebody else said this, there are no such things as well-rounded leaders. There are only well-rounded teams. And I really, really believe in that, and having a really diverse team that has all different personalities, all different interests, because that's what makes us really good. And if you're a leader that can handle that, then if I see that in a leader, then I know that they can handle feedback. Because they've been given, if they have a very diverse team and everybody has different beliefs and different opinions and they're loud and vocal about them, then you're probably a leader that's got some balls, if I could just be honest, and you can take feedback, because those are the best teams, and the best teams with the best cultures are the teams that have on-time, honest communication. They're not covering it up just to act like they have a healthy culture. They really do.
My most boisterous team members, she's always bitching about something. She's the most loyal, though.
That's normally how it is. Yes.
She's like, I just want to tell you, this is fucking stupid. Like, I don't know why you're doing this. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, she like so brutal. Like, she'll tell, like, that's stupid. To like, she has, her English is her second language, but like, she will literally just blast you, because I guess the language context from like Brazilian or Portuguese. Yeah. And she's just literally that's the dumbest thing ever. Why are we doing that? I'm like, all right, well, maybe I don't listen. I have no idea.
Are we doing it now?
Let me look into it. But I'm also the leader. Like, if it's stupid, I'm like, all right, let's not do it. Why the fuck are we doing it anyway? Like, that was what we did 3 months ago, but now we don't need to do that. But all right, I know you got to go. James, one last question real quick. If there's a good one, don't give me like a statement from somebody.
Yeah, we got
anything for Heather?
What are your thoughts on employee salon versus booth rental, and how do you think it impacts the hair industry?
I'll start with this one, because we may have I think, I don't know if we have a difference of opinion, but I have a very clear opinion about this.
I think I know your opinion on this too.
And I don't mind people disagreeing with my opinion at all.
Yeah.
I do not believe in the booth rental model. I don't really know anything about the booth rental model other than what's obvious when it pertains to how I want to see this industry. I believe what is best for the industry is a company that has great leadership, great culture, great teamwork, and usually that involves people being employees. Unless you, so I know two people, and I have coached thousands of hairstylists. I have coached thousands of salon owners. I know two people that are in booth rental salons, and they are phenomenal salons. I mean, I have zero feedback. Like, they're phenomenal salons. The majority of rental salons are just not ran like that because that's not how they're supposed to be ran. It's literally everyone in a booth rental salon is a business owner, all of them. One person just has their name on the lease. That's the difference. And so for me, I look at it like I care about this industry so much, and I care about the professionalism and the ongoing education and how great we show up as professionals. Like, and I'm not kidding. I've stood on stages and I have like fell on a sword for this and said, in 50 years, if my daughter decides to go to school, cosmetology school, and we're 50 years from now and she's at a dinner party with her husband and it's like doctors and lawyers there, I want when my daughter says I'm a hairstylist or a salon owner, I want them all to look at her with the same level of respect and admiration that they do doctors and lawyers. And I do not believe that a booth rental salon can do that for us not because of the setup, not because of that at all, because of lack of leadership. It all comes down to lack of leadership. So in a sense, I am saying there is a blanket statement of, I don't agree with that model because I care so much about the industry and like this bigger picture here. Do I think that people can make a lot of money in booth rent? For sure. Do I think a lot of people say that they make a lot of money in booth rent and really don't? For sure. Ultimately, I fully believe, and I also believe the only way a salon owner that wants to go into being a leader full time is going to be able to make real money is if they have a salon that has employees, or like what, and Nick, I'm ignorant to exactly what you do, but you obviously get a cut from your team, even though
it's a rev share model, but they're independent. Yeah. So they're like coaching. Yeah.
So that's the only way that you're going to be able to make money if you're not behind the chair.
And I'll be honest, having employees it's way better to have employees. It's way better to have employees because you have more control and you could. Here's the thing. I think it's the easy way out for owners because it's like, oh, I can open a salon and just rent my chairs and be done with it. And then so you didn't really get in this to own a salon. You got in this to have free rent for yourself. That's not a dig. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
For the most part. And you're too scared to step up to be a leader, to actually want to take on the responsibility of having employees and dealing with the taxes and all that bullshit. And I get it. It's a lot of work. And good for you. Be a rental salon. But you're never, ever going to not have a job. As an owner, you actually own a business when you own a commission salon. And so you could have a hybrid model. If you think of the wealthiest salons in the world, like take the top 50 income producing, revenue generating salons. Yes. Are they commission with employees or are they rental salons?
Yes. And
just look at that. And
there is not even a close, like you cannot compare. You just cannot compare. And it really does have to do with what you want. Like if there's an owner that's like, but I don't want a team. I don't want to manage people. Then you do not want to own a commission salon because it's the hardest thing you're ever going to do. And if you only want to be behind the chair, then that is more of a fit for you. 100%. But I think, like, I look at for our industry, if everyone did that, I'm like, where would the professionalism be at in 50 years? Where would the education, the technical education, if I did not start at the salon that I started at, where they grew me, they taught me. I mean, they gave me the platform from where I learned everything, and then the confidence to like go out there and educate myself. If I did not have that, I would have been a trash hairstylist for so much longer than what I actually was. Like, I look at the education aspect. There is something to be said when we have these little newbies coming in here that can't do hair for a lick, and they get to stand next to and learn every single thing that is in the brain of a 10-year, 15, 20-year veteran for free.
That's amazing.
No, that really worries me for our industry from an educational perspective and a professionalism perspective.
It's going to swing back because suites, they came out strong recently. And then people got in there and they're like, this isn't what I thought it was. Like, I'm working harder than ever. I'm making less money. Like, I'm so fucking lonely. I'm in a cubicle. This sucks. And now they're like, I'm going back to a salon. And some, like, I triggered a post. It was like months ago about suites.
I love it.
I was like, good for you. Like, I'm glad you love a suite. I pay up to 70% commission because I have a different model. And I see, I'm trying to make both of them work. The freedom, the brand, the independence. And I think I was too early in our industry for this, but there's definitely a way to do it. Now, when it comes to like the rev share model that I teach and that I like, but a commission salon, there's nothing like that. When you watch a really well-structured salon, like the guys from 124 Go, right? Do you know those guys?
Oh yeah.
They run a fucking great business. Like
Yes.
they have they're dialed in. They have the employee model down. Like those guys do it right.
Yes.
And it's just amazing to watch what a real business in our industry functions like.
Yes.
You know, I think we got 10 salons now. And if you can't do that with a chain of rental salons,
nope.
Like to be profitable like that. So yeah, listen, if it vibes with you, like it's either like you want to make money or you want to have like energy and be free from worrying about employees. Like there's not wrong. Like you could want a rental salon. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying, if you really want to make money and not have to worry about working behind the chair, you're not going to get there with a rental salon.
No, but I think a lot of people don't realize that though. I think a lot of people that are thinking about opening up a salon, they don't understand that, oh, you don't make money as an owner. You do not make money as an owner owning a rental salon. You don't. You literally make money from your chair and you're just doing it so you have a place that you like to do hair and other people have their own. That's not how, and because we get DMs like this. I get DMs where people are asking, I want to open up a salon. Which route do you think I should take? Booth rent or commission? And I'm like, that's almost like comparing Apple. Nothing is similar about them. Like it's either if you want this route, then you need to go booth rent.
You want to be a dentist or mechanic?
No, seriously. That's it. It's like, or if you want to be able to make a living for yourself where you are eventually not behind the chair, you cannot do that with booth rent. Unless, I mean, there is a world where you could, if you're charging like $5,000, like there is a way to do that. But in the traditional booth rent sense, for the majority of people, that doesn't really happen.
That's where that personal economy would come in. You need to be an educator. Your salon's running. You got to really your studio to film content in. Like there's 100%. Other things you can do.
Because there are people that do that and make fantastic money, but they also have this separate LLC, and it may be under the same, but they have this separate business that they're running from their booth rent salon. That's way different.
Yeah.
Such a good question, Don.
Yeah, there's a lot of great questions today. All right, I know you got to get out of here. Everyone, Heather, what are your handles on Instagram so everyone can follow you from my
at Pip University, and then obviously anybody following me. I think everybody that's following me though, Nick, knows you.
I think everyone knows. Most of the people know you too from my community, but I'm at Nick Mirabella if you don't follow me. And I promise you, I come across like very tough sometimes on Instagram, like a dick. But I just do that because I feel like the industry saved my life. And I feel like it's so soft and like, it's okay. Don't work Saturdays. It's okay. It's not okay. Like you do have to work if you want to make really good money in this, and you could. It's not forever, right? So I'm a little brash, but if you put 5 solid years in, like really crush it for 5 years and punt the weekend, punt the wine to meet your friends, you will be making serious money.
Yes. How bad do you want it?
Yeah. Because I was that person in my 20s. Like I went to hair school, I dropped out, then I went back to hair school, then I did hair for a soap opera, then I went to the Marine Corps, then I traveled, I lived in the Dominican Republic, and I loved my life, don't get me wrong, but I didn't get back into hair again until I was in my 30s, and I crushed it because of everything I learned. Had I just had that coaching mentorship, like someone put me under the wing and take me when my young 20s were, I would be way different, like a way different place than I am right now. I would probably have 200 salons right now.
That's really good.
But it was like, really I plant seeds in people So if you follow me, you get offended, like, don't be offended. I'm really not a dick. I say things just to really like plant the seed and spark and like just make you think a little bit. So that's why I say that. And for you have YouTube, Heather? Everyone watching?
We do, but we don't really use it. But we are, that is the plan for moving into 2026, is having weekly YouTube shows. So we'll see.
So if you guys want to watch the full thing, it will be on my YouTube. It's just put Nick Mirabella and I'll pop up, and you can watch the whole episode there, or you can go to my website and get the podcast. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Great questions, Heather. Thanks for spending the afternoon with me. I appreciate it.
It was a
We're going to see you
pleasure.
again, guys. All right, everyone, enjoy
Yeah,
the rest of
the
the day.
audience loved it.
Awesome. Bye, guys.